Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Now today I'm going to be making some bolillos. I know I haven't pronounced that right. That's a Mexican word and it's for a type of bread roll similar to a French baguette. These are shorter though than a baguette would be, and I'm not quite sure how crusty the texture on the outside should be compared to a baguette. I've seen various recipes and some seem soft and squeezy and some seem more crunchy on the outside. But anyway, I've come up with my recipe having looked at various ones, and they look quite good, I have to say. They're sort of thicker in the middle, they're oblong but they're thicker in the middle and they go to a sort of point at the end. Similar, I suppose, to a rugby ball or an American football type shape. So onto the ingredients. For that I have 500 grams, which is 4 cups of strong white bread flour. I have some extra flour available if I need it. I'll explain that later. I have a teaspoon of salt, 7 grams, which is a quarter of an ounce or 1 packet of active dried yeast, and I have 12 grams, which is 1 tablespoon of caster sugar. I have 56 grams, which is a quarter of a cup of melted butter, which I'm allowing to cool, and I have 300 milliliters of water, which is lukewarm. That is at 43 Fahrenheit at the moment. Sorry, 43 centigrade Celsius, 110 Fahrenheit. And into that I'm going to put about half of the sugar, and I'll put the rest of the sugar straight into the flour, and then I'm going to pour the yeast into the water and the sugar, and I'm going to give that a stir, and then I'm going to leave that to activate for 10 minutes. During that time it should start to become quite frothy, and then it's ready to go straight on to make the dough for the bolillos. So I'll leave that for 10 minutes and then we'll come back and get on to make the bread dough. It's been about 10 minutes and as you can see our yeast mixture, which is in 300 milliliters of that warm water, that works out to a cup and a quarter if I didn't say that before. That started to froth up quite nicely, and I have put my flour, my sugar and my salt into the bowl of my stand mixer, and then I'm going to pour this yeast mixture in, and I'm going to pour the melted butter in as well, and I'll just scrape those down to make sure I get everything in. And then what I'm going to do is mix this with my dough hook until it all comes together nicely. It'll take 5 or 6 minutes probably, and it should come away from the sides of the bowl. Now if it's not coming away from the sides of the bowl and it's still rather sticky, that's when you can use a little bit of extra flour. Flour absorbs moisture at different levels, different amounts, depending on the humidity and such like. So sometimes it will come away cleanly, other times it won't. So just add in some extra flour until it mixes and comes cleanly away from the bowl. As you can see, that's come away from the bowl quite nicely, and it's quite easy to take off the hook because it's not too tacky. So The next thing to do is just to form that into a ball. And then put it into the greased bowl to prove for an hour to an hour and a half, or until it's doubled in size. So I'm just going to take a little bit of flour. I didn't need to add any extra flour to my mixture. And just put this onto the flour. Just turn it in on itself like that. And form it into a ball. Like that. And I have here a bowl which I have greased. I'm going to put that in top side down and then turn it over so that the bottom is greased as well. And I'll just make sure everything, this is just to stop it from forming a film on the dough while it's proving. So then I will cover that and I will allow it to prove in a warm place without any drafts for an hour to an hour and a half, or until it's doubled in size, and then I will come back and we'll get on to the next step of shaping our rolls. It's been an hour and the dough has doubled in size, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that out onto a lightly floured work surface and just knock that down. And then I'm actually going to divide that into 6 pieces. So I'm going to weigh it first of all, 858. So I want each piece to be about 143 grams. That's exactly 143, that's a miracle. Okay, so what I'm going to do, having divided that into the 6 equal pieces, is I'm going to form those into a ball. And to do that I'm going to use my hand cupped and just roll it like that. And with our 6 balls like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover those with plastic wrap and allow them to rest for 15 minutes, and then in 15 minutes time we will shape them and then give them their final proof before they go into the oven. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I've already done one. I'm going to take our rounds and I'm going to flatten them out into an oval like that, and I'm going to pull one end up like that and turn the other end over on it like that, and then I want to roll that with my hands angled at about 45 degrees. I want to create a sort of narrower end and a fatter middle. Like that, and then I'll pick that up and put that onto my baking tray, and with them rolled out like that with slightly pointed ends and fatter in the middle, I'm going to cover them again and I'm going to allow them to prove until they've doubled in size. Now as that's happening, I'm going to preheat my oven, and I'm going to do that to 230 Celsius, that's 210 Celsius with a fan, 450 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to put a tray in the bottom of the oven, a metal tray, because I want to pour some cold water into that when we put these in to bake. So there'll be a tray in the oven heating up at the same time, and I'll have a water spray bottle like this ready to spray on top of the rolls, and water to put into the oven to steam them. So I'll be back in an hour when they're ready to go into the oven. The dough has rested and proved for about an hour. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a cut in the top of each one with a very sharp knife, and I'm trying to go about a ½ an inch deep, but I'll leave the ends uncut by about ½ an inch, and these will open up during baking, these cuts. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them with water, and I'm going to pour this 1/4 cup of water into the pan in my oven, in the bottom of the oven, and place both trays of buns in the oven. I'm going to bake them for 20 minutes. During that time they should crisp up and go crusty on the outside and remain nice and soft inside, and if I turn them over and tap them they should sound hollow. So then I'll take them out of the oven and let them cool down, and then I'll come back and show you the results. Our bolillos have baked and they're cooling down. They're not quite cool, but I wanted to show them to you. So this is what they look like, and they are quite crusty on the outside, but I can feel that they are going soft already, so maybe that's how they're supposed to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear one apart, even though it's still warm, so we can look inside. And that looks very good to me. I'm just going to have a little taste. Yep, that tastes very, very good. It's going to be ideal for my lunch with some butter and some ham. So that's what I'm going to do. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, which will take you to the recipe, and I'll put a link to it below the video as well. And I will be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.